Chapter 5 Programming in Visual Basic. In this chapter, you will learn about the different data types, the Visual Basic operators, how to declare constants and variables using dim statement, how to concatenate two strings using if-then else, and for-next statements, using MSG box and input box functions. We have already discussed Visual Basic as a user-friendly and easy-to-use object-oriented language. You already know how to include various controls in a form in VB and how to modify their properties. Also, the two views of a Visual Basic application have been discussed. Design view, where the different controls are placed on the form and their properties are specified, and the code view, in which program codes are written so that the various events in the application can be run. The programming features of Visual Basic will be discussed in this chapter. Data types in Visual Basic. The data in Visual Basic is partitioned into two categories: numeric data type, non-numeric data type. Numeric data type basically deals with numbers and calculations that can be performed on them. On the other hand, non-numeric data type deals with data on which mathematical On the other hand, non-numeric data type deals with the data on which mathematical calculations cannot be performed. This data is present in the form of messages and text. Data type category, data types, storage space required, range of values. Managing variables. The concept of variables has already been discussed in QBasic. Variables are used to store information and each variable is given a name. It can store a number or some text, that is, there can be a variable that stores a student name, Anna, and a variable that saves her percentage, 98.5. The rules given below must be followed at the time of naming the variables. No spacing should be given in the name of a variable. A variable name should not contain more than 255 characters. A number should not be present at the start of a variable name. A period dot should not be present within a variable name. The table given below shows some examples of correct and incorrect variable names. Variable name, correct, reason. Variable declaration. Variables have to be declared before they can be used by assigning data types and names. An error will show up if this is not done. Variables are declared in the code with the help of the dim statement. The following statement gives the syntax of the dim statement. Dim variable name as data type. Example, dim roll number as integer. Dim date underscore of underscore birth as date. Dim student underscore name as string. Multiple dim statements can be written in a single line separated by commas. Example, dim roll num as integer, date underscore of underscore birth as date, student underscore name as string. Arithmetic operators in Visual Basic. The arithmetic operators given in the following table are used for carrying out various mathematical operations in Visual Basic. Operator, mathematical function, example. Assignment of values to variables. Once the variable declaration is done, variables should be assigned appropriate values. The variables that are numeric in nature are assigned numbers as values. On the other hand, the variables that are non-numeric are assigned text or string as values. Following are some examples of assignment statements. F name is equal to George, roll num equal to 24, percentage is equal to 78.9, total underscore marks is equal to subject 1 plus subject 2 plus subject 3 plus subject 4. Do you know the values that are non-numeric in nature are also known as alphanumeric values? Such values are enclosed in double quotes. Example 1. Follow the steps given below to find out percentage of marks in a VB application. Open a new form. Name this new form percentage marks. Following are some controls that have to be added to the form. 7 labels. First, to display a text total percentage, 5 labels are needed to display a text for marks in different subjects, and the last one to display the calculated percentage. 5 text boxes for letting the user enter marks of 5 subjects. 1 button. Specify the properties of the various controls as given below. Label 1, text, total percentage, font, Arial, bold, 16. Label 2, text, marks in maths, font, Arial, regular, 12. Label 3, text, marks in English, font, Arial, regular, 12. Label 4, text, marks in science, font, Arial, regular, 12. Label 5, text, marks in Hindi, font, Arial, regular, 12. Label 6, text, marks in social science, font, Arial, regular, 12. Button 1, text, calculate percentage, font, Arial, bold, 14. Label 7, text, blank, font, Arial, regular, 16. Border style, fixed, 3D. Back color, active border. The form will look as shown in the figure below. Do you know the auto size property has to be made false when a blank label is drawn? Double-click on the Calculate Percentage button present on the form. The Code tab opens and the pointer blinks between the private sub and end sub. Type the code given below. Dim, marks 1, marks 2, marks 3, marks 4, marks 5 as integer. Marks 1 is equal to text box 1 dot text. Marks 2 is equal to text box 2 dot text. Marks 3 is equal to text box 3 dot text. Marks 4 is equal to text box 4 dot text. Marks 5 is equal to text box 5 dot text. Label 7 dot text is equal to marks 1 plus marks 2 plus marks 3 plus marks 4 plus marks 5 / 500 asterisk 100. Do you know a number of forms can be added to the same object by selecting the Add New Item tool present on the toolbar, then clicking on the Windows Form option and finally clicking on the Add button. Click on the File menu, select the Save All option. The project will be saved. To run the program, select the Start Debugging button. You can also press the F5 key. Input the marks obtained in different subjects. Click on the Calculate Percentage button to calculate the percentage secured. The calculated percentage will be displayed in Label 7 as shown in the figure. Concatenation of two strings. You can easily concatenate multiple strings together and then print them as a single string. Example 2. Design an interface in Visual Basic as given below. Also, type the code as given for the event click. Save the code and then execute it so that the output is displayed. Code. Private sub button 1 underscore click by val sender as system.object by val esystem.event args handles button 1 dot click. Label 3.text is equal to my full name is plus textbox1 dot text plus textbox2 dot text end sub. Constants. Constants are dissimilar to variables because the value assigned to a constant cannot be modified when the program is executed. The following statement gives the syntax required to declare constants. Constant name as data type is equal to value. Example, constant num as integer is equal to 13. Constant pi as single is equal to 3.142. Example 3. Write the code required for the click event of button and design an interface as displayed in the figure given below. Point to be noted, the required code is typed between the private sub and end sub commands that are displayed in the code editor window automatically. Double-click on the command button for which the event is being programmed to open its code editor. Code. Private sub button 1 underscore click by val sender as system dot object by val e as system dot event args handles button 1 dot click. Constant cost underscore per underscore pen as single is equal to 25. Label 2 is equal to cost underscore per underscore pen asterisk textbox 1 dot text end sub. Conditional operators. We have already discussed about the looping and branching aspects of programming of QBasic, where using the inputs given by the user, a program could make decisions. Various conditional operators can be used to control the flow of a program in VB. The table given below displays the various conditional operators and the manner of their response to a number of conditions. Operator, true if, false if. These conditional operators enable the user to compare strings apart from comparing numbers. For example, G is less than H is less than I is less than J is less than K and so on. Also, numbers are considered less than letters and the uppercase letters are taken to be less than lowercase letters. Logical operators. Before making decisions and further taking an appropriate action, many a time multiple comparisons have to be made. Therefore, conditional operators alone are not enough in such situations and additional operators known as logical operators have to be used. Operator meaning and. For the result to be true, both sides should be true. Or, for the result to be true, at least one or the other should be true. XOR, for the result to be true, one or the other should be true, but not both. Not true. If-then statements. If-then and if-then-else statements can be used to control the flow of a Visual Basic program that is based on some conditions. Following is the syntax of these statements. Using else is not necessary, and each of the if-then blocks must end with end if. Example 4. Write a program to find out whether the number entered by the user is even or odd. Code. Example 5. Create an application to be used by the booking clerk present at the railway ticket counter. Depending on the seat or train chosen by the customer, calculate and display the amount that the customer has to pay. Code. For next statement for looping. Loops have already been discussed in QBasic. Looping is used for repeated execution of one or more statements in Visual Basic in the same way. Following is the syntax of for next. For counter is equal to start number to end number step increment VB statements. Next. Example 6. Write a program to display even numbers between 1 and 20. Code. Functions in VB. A function works in a way that is very much similar to a normal procedure. The only difference is that a function accepts an input and generates an appropriate value that is returned back to the main program so that the execution can be finished. Following is the syntax for writing a function. Function name, arguments. The MSG box function. MSG box displays a pop-up message. This message usually prompts you to select a command button to continue. Example 7. Create a form and draw a command button. Write the following code in the click event of the button drawn. Private sub-button 1 underscore click by val sender as system.object, by val e as system.event args, handles button 1 dot click, dim I as integer, I is equal to MSG box, double quotes, click OK to continue, double quotes, 1, double quotes, startup menu, double quotes, end sub. The following figure shows the output that is displayed on the screen when the user clicks on the button. The buttons that are displayed on the message box are dependent on the style value given in the argument 1 and 2 in the following figure. The following table shows the different style value codes along with the respective buttons that are displayed on the message box. Style value, buttons displayed. The input box function. An input box function shows a message box that allows you to enter some value or a text message. Following is the syntax of the function. My message takes the input entered by the user. It is a variant data type and is declared as a string. The arguments present in the syntax are explained as follows. Prompt: the message displayed in the message box. Title, the title of the input box. Default text, the text that is present by default in the input field. The users can use this text as their input, or it can be modified as required. X position and Y position, the coordinates or position of the input box. Example 8. Private sub button 1 underscore click, bracket, open, by val sender as system dot object, by val e as system dot event args, close bracket, handles button 1 dot click, dim msg as string. msg is equal to Microsoft dot Visual Basic dot input box, double quotes, enter the message, double quotes, message entry form, double quotes, enter the text here, double quotes, 120, 220, end sub. Type the code given below by combining the MSG box and input box functions. Private sub button 1 underscore click, open bracket, by val sender as system dot object, comma, by val e as system dot event args, close bracket, handles button 1 dot click, dim msg as string, dim I as integer, I is equal to msg box, double quotes, click, OK to continue, double quotes, 1, double quotes, startup menu, double quotes, close bracket. msg is equal to Microsoft.VisualBasic.input box, open bracket, double quotes, enter the message, double quotes, comma, message, entry form, double quotes, comma, enter the text here, double quotes, 160, 220, end sub. Observe the output. Therefore, by learning programming, computer can be made to work according to your commands. You can develop applications that can solve your mathematical problems. Fun applications can also be developed. Visual Basic gives a user-friendly programming environment. Summary. There are two types of views in Visual Basic: Design View and Code View. Data is divided into two categories: numeric and non-numeric data types. Dim statement is used to declare variables in the code window. The value of a constant cannot be changed when you execute the program. The different logical operators in Visual Basic are AND, OR, XOR, NOT.